Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We hope it is good. Welcome to another edition of Geeks Who Like Sports. As always, I am Ray Carcillo in beautiful Los Angeles, California.
You're just in Los Angeles. I'm interrupting this again. You had earthquakes. It's not beautiful. You're in Los Angeles. Stop taking the pride away from my city.
Still waiting for the big one. Still waiting for the big one.
Apparently so is Japan.
Yeah, so the whole Ring of Fire is real active lately. So
it is.
Anyway, that's Lee Elias over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They don't have earthquakes. Lee, how you doing today, buddy?
That's not true, Ray. We had an earthquake within this last year. That actually happened. I was on the phone with my brother when it happened. I was so shocked. I said, "Alan, I think we had an earthquake," but it was a little earthquake. It was just a little guy. Wasn't what you have to deal with out there in beautiful Los Angeles, California, home of the 2028 Olympics. Ray, I'm not gonna lie to our audience. There's no DoorDash Dash of the week. There's no non-sponsor of the week. We have so much content packed in this episode today. We're skipping over all of that, and we're going to get right into it. Olympics coming to you, Ray. Tom Cruise says that the Olympics are coming to L.A., and he is the representative for that entire region.
Yeah.
I can't think of a better person than a Scientologist who makes amazing films. Do you think Top Gun 2 will come out around that Olympic Games?
You mean Top Gun 3?
That's what I said.
Yeah, no, I think I don't know if Tom Cruise is going to be really that involved with the Olympics beyond the opening ceremony, but like, boy, that was a thing, right? I guess.
How old is Tom Cruise? Let's see. He's in his 60s.
I was going to say 61. I'm going to say.
Is he 61? So he'll be 62. So he'll be closer to 70 at those Olympics than 60, and he'll still look the exact same way he does today.
Yes, he'll still be in better shape than me. And
man jumped off the top of a stadium. What have we done?
Definitely not that.
We podcast.
I have the pod bod. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you have a T-shirt. We got that made for you.
Yes, it's over there. It's over yonder.
Framed inside.
Not quite, but yes. But yeah, no, the Olympics. We're kicking things off with the Olympics today because we do have a big show, like Lee said. We got a lot of geek news, a lot of trailers dropped, a little bit of news for Netflix, a little bit of news from Warner Brothers.
Yeah, and Ray, if I may, it's Olympics. We're talking about baseball inside of a raceway. We've got trailers. We've got all the Marvel, Disney stuff. You want to talk about Daredevil, Star Wars, Skeleton Crew, Disney World stuff. And then we got Ghostbusters stuff, Borderlands stuff. It's going to be a good show, so make sure you stick around for the entire 7-hour program.
Yeah, it's not going to be that long, but it is going to be a big one.
Yes.
But yeah, a lot of stuff going on. The Olympics are over. The U.S., I guess, wins by default.
They do. Yeah, they had the tiebreaker.
They had the tiebreaker because even though they and China both finished with 40 gold medals, the U.S. had many, many more medals overall. So the U.S. is the overall winner.
Yes, but the planet's really what wins, Ray, because we all competed peacefully.
But all that matters is America is number one. We are the best once again.
Yes.
Particularly in men's and women's basketball and women's soccer. We don't talk about men's soccer. Congratulations to the Spain team.
Keeping in mind too that was like a U23 team. That wasn't true it wasn't true global soccer and some of the World Cup. It was all amateur teams, if you will. But a good competition nonetheless. I don't know if a lot of people realize that. Like those are not the actual national teams.
Yes.
FIFA came in and said you're not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Like we care about our tournaments, not your tournament. Our tournaments.
Yes.
So, and then of course we were graced with the greatest breakdancer of all time, Rachel Gunn, from Australia. That's obviously tongue in cheek, folks. If you didn't see it, I mean, at this point, I don't know how you could not have at least seen her as a meme.
Girl Reagan.
Form. Yeah, like now supposedly they're investigating her because like she basically got herself a free trip to Paris. And
I've got thoughts on that. You want to start on that? You want to go there?
Let's start on that because we got a lot of good stories, but let's get the bad out of the way. And that obviously,
I don't know if it's not.
It takes away from what was actually really great competition.
Yes. I will give the breaking community a lot of credit because the general consensus is, look, part of international competing is that Australia doesn't have a lot of breaking experience. They've kind of embraced her in the sense of like, look, we're not going to shun away people that love breaking. But they've also said she probably should not have been competing.
Right.
But they're not gonna be evil towards her. And I really have a lot of respect for that approach.
Yes, 100%.
I'm saying, like, look, she's had no formal training. Like, this is not an Australian sport.
No.
Right? This is an Asian and also a American, kind of North American thing.
Yeah.
with the gold medalist going to Canada.
Yeah.
Right? And silver medalist actually. Who did silver medal go to? I'm blanking here. Son. France, and then the bronze going to the United States. So I love their response to it. What's interesting to me, Ray, is this. Yes, it is insanely meme worthy what she did. It is
Yeah.
everywhere. I mean, even
Yes.
Jimmy Fallon's making fun of her.
Yes.
What kills me a little bit, I think, as a coach and as an athlete, is that the actual breaking competition was fantastic. Like the medal round and leading up to that round, like I'll call it the playoffs. Unbelievable performances, like unbelievable. My son, my whole family was watching. It was blown away by it. And I just hate that that's being drowned away. And that also, it seems like a lot of people are making the assumption of, oh, they messed up. This is what they brought. That's not what happened, right? So I just, look, that's social media for you. I wish we could have it both ways. We can't. But yeah, I mean, look, she went back to Australia and she's holding her ground. That this is her art form and this isn't her expression. We'll see what happens there.
I guess. I mean, that is sometimes the issue with art is that it's what one person thinks is art, one other person may not. It is up for interpretation. So there is that gray area, I suppose. Right. But I think most of us all agree that she probably should not have been there.
Yeah. Here's the other thing too, and I have to say this. Everybody's pointing at that performance, and what bugs me about it, Ray, is like this is not as abnormal as I think people think. Like, and I'll give you a few examples. In 1998, Nagano, Japan put a team in the ice hockey competition. Right. They got destroyed. I mean, by 20 goals.
Yeah.
And everybody said, well, they shouldn't be here. But you know what? Japan has a pretty prominent ice hockey presence now.
Yeah. And as the host country, yeah, they could do that. And to your point, it helped get hockey going there.
It did. Now again, Australia's not the host country this time. Right. But I'm just giving the example. Now, other examples too, like there were some divers that had a terrible showing.
Yeah.
Right. But look, I don't know what, especially for breaking, the parameters were to qualify.
Right.
But you have a new sport. 99% of the breakers were world class.
Yeah.
And I'll just say I don't mean this in a bad way. That's the best probably Australia could bring. All right. And again, the breaking community said she probably should not have competed. But that's not the nature of the Olympics. Yeah. You can go there and be horrible, and or be perceived as horrible. I should say.
You're still the best that country had to offer.
Yeah, she had guts to do that. So I never understood the what is that? Like we have some moral authority on this stuff.
Right.
You can't conveniently ignore the rest of the competition. Just say, well, that sucked. No wonder it's getting kicked out of the Olympics. There's other reasons it's not going to be back.
Right.
All right. But yeah, it's an interesting case study in just our need to make fun and point at people when this was definitely worthy of being made fun of, but like our need to only focus on that disturbs me, especially when your ass is sitting on a couch not doing anything. So I give her a lot of credit for going there and doing all that stuff. I really do believe that she believes in what she's doing.
Sure.
Right? And she might be the person now that brings breaking to Australia. Like she might be the pinpoint for that. But I just and this is not the only thing in this Olympics with this. The jump to judgment immediately.
Yeah.
It shows you a larger problem here.
Yeah.
All right. And I'll get into it with Simone Biles in a minute too. Everyone loves her now. 4 years ago, a lot of you, 3 years.
She was a villain.
A lot of you jerks painted her as a villain. I wouldn't say she was a hero for stepping down like she did. Like some people, she's a hero for taking a stand. Hero's not the word. She's courageous to me.
Sure.
For stepping down and saying, hey, look, I'm not in a place I can compete.
Right.
All right. I don't think heroes are athletes. I think heroes are people that are serving the countries to defend freedom. That's a whole nother episode. But my point to you is this. Everyone loves her now. You hypocrites.
Yeah.
Right? The breaking lady made fun. She made a kangaroo jump. That's not breaking. Like any of you watched breaking before. Give me a break. Unintended. Anyway, I'm done.
No, I'm with you 100%. But to your point, it's also breaking now out, baseball and softball back in 2028.
It was out prior to the Olympics. That's
well, yes, it was only going to be this. This was almost like a trial run, almost. And it was.
Well, people are saying she caused that. I said, guys, this was already a decision.
Yes, this had nothing to do with her.
I don't know if people know this, Ray, but the host country can decide. Like
right.
they
This
can
was
decide,
France. This was France. France was a big reason why this. And again, and you mentioned, and the French person won silver. Like it's a big deal over there.
Go Canada.
So, yeah.
Hey guys, if you haven't seen that the gold medal match, go. I mean, it's 10 minutes of your time. It's amazing. Go watch it. You won't believe what these people can do.
Yeah. Real quick, speaking of following up on last week, we just discussed people jumping to conclusions and jumping on people's.
I like gold.
Yeah. Aman Khalif wins the gold in her weight class in boxing.
Well, of course she won gold, Ray. I mean, yeah, of course she did. You know, like the chromosomes.
Yeah.
Ray, let me just talk to you a little bit about facts. Let's talk about some facts here.
Oh, how about
I'm a jackass. I'm fact. Dumbass. Sorry,
the fact that again she was eliminated in the quarterfinals in the previous Olympics, and that this is like I think really her first major championship.
God bless her.
Yes.
For doing that.
Yes, and also for mentioning how much sweeter it is to do this with all her critics. So on her back. So.
Talk about the dumbest story of the year.
Yes.
And we've got a lot of dumb stories. In this country.
In fact, actually, again, just want to congratulate him on because again we talked about all this last week. Go back to last week's episode to get our full thoughts on all of that. But on the heels of this, I thought this was satire at first, and it wasn't. Again, the Australians taking up all the news in the Olympics, losing the swimming medals to the U.S., the breakdancer, and now Australians want Ethan Katzberg, who is the Canadian who got a gold medal in the hammer throw, a classic Olympic competition, and they were like, he doesn't look Canadian enough. Being 100% serious about, I thought it was satire at first when I saw this headline. And I did some more research, and no, this is a legit story that the Australian representatives of the Olympics were like, we want a DNA test to see if this dude, who we think looks Australian, is Australian, and then we want to make a claim on him. Obviously, at that point, it's never going to happen. It was going to go to the Canada all the way, but Australia. What's going on, guys? Like this is.
Well, and Ray, I'm glad you're here because you are the authority on what Canadians look like. So tell the audience, Ray, what does a Canadian look like?
I don't know. They look like anybody else. I don't know.
Ray, I'm gonna read you a quick poem here that I think describes the situation. Ready?
I don't know. You look Canadian. I look Canadian.
I don't really look Canadian. I don't know what I look like now that you mention it. Ray, I'm gonna read you this quick poem. I think this sums it up. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Times have changed. Our kids are getting worse. They don't obey their parents. They just want to fart and curse. Should we blame the government or blame society? Or should we blame the images on TV? No. Blame Canada. Blame Canada. With all their beady little eyes and their flapping hits are full of lies. Blame Canada.
Yes.
Blame Canada.
Yes.
They're not even a real country anyway.
That's funny. Actually, I was talking before the show. I watched South Park for the first time in forever last night.
We should give some context. That is a song from South Park, the film. I'm not actually making that up in my head. I love Canada. Everyone in Canada knows that.
Yes. Yeah. No. So this was just another funny story where it's like,
you look not Canadian.
You don't look Canadian enough.
I thought it was satire too. I thought this must be like a Babylon Bee article.
Yeah. No. That's what I thought. I was looking and I'm like, no, this is legit.
There's some stupid petty crap that came out of this Olympics.
Yes, there was, and I think that's the sad thing, and that's why it's like a lot.
I have a little rant at the end of this, but yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stories. Again, we're going to talk about Noah Lyles, fastest man in the world, who's expected to win the gold, but instead only won the bronze in the 400. He did win the gold in the 100 because it was found out he had COVID.
I don't know how you feel about that, Ray. I think that's courageous as hell what he did.
That's
unbelievable.
I know what it's like to have COVID. You know what it's like to have COVID.
3 times.
And he still won twice for me.
3 times.
Still won the bronze.
Yeah, that's it.
He still won the bronze.
And then they took him off on a wheelchair afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. That is insane.
Unbelievable. Amit Allure, who becomes the youngest American woman to win a wrestling gold. At only 20 years old, the granddaughter of Holocaust survivors.
Yes, thank God.
So, and as I put it in the notes, suck it, Hitler.
Suck it, Adolf, you jerk.
Yeah. So, USA.
Yeah, no, there's one more story I have here that I'm gonna do my little rant.
Yes, and then this was a really great note. This was just something that was great because I love it when something hasn't happened in like decades, and this is the first time Safan Hassan of the Netherlands.
Great name.
Yeah, Safan Hassan won 3 medals in long distance running and is the first person to do that since 1952, including winning gold in the women's marathon.
Right.
She won 2 bronze and then a gold.
In that amount of time.
And that's a lot of running in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a lot of running in 2 weeks.
People don't do that in years.
Yeah. I don't think I've done that in my life.
Well, I wasn't going to throw you under the bed, but now that you mentioned it, Ray, we need to go run a marathon together.
That's not happening.
No. Look, hear me out. We'll take 4 weeks and we'll drive across the country and we'll say we ran a marathon in our car.
I mean, that's different. Yeah, the car is doing all the work at that point.
But I should have saved that transition for later. But listen, the other story I just want to bring up real quick before I do my little rant here is that Jordan Childs, they're taking her bronze away. And this is one of those petty things I can't stand. They said that they reported 4 seconds late their challenge, and then now there's video that shows that the coach actually did that prior to that. You have to make challenges in gymnastics within 1 minute of something ending. And the Olympic Committee basically said, look, we're not gonna do this. Like, give the bronze medal back. We don't want to be in court for months and months and months. And it's like, man, the pettiness. We talked about that. With that said, this has been the greatest Olympics I've seen, I think, in my lifetime. It accomplished many things. Number one, the patriotism, the unity that I could feel around of people cheering for the United States is something I have not seen in years. It feels really good. The Tokyo Olympics, while they were fine, it was right during COVID. There was nobody there. It just didn't feel right. Yeah. I don't remember an Olympics that I enjoyed as much as this, maybe since Atlanta, which was a long time ago. All right, so I want to first off give a shout out to just the Olympics in general. This was a lot of fun and a good time. I looked forward to it every day. It was fun to follow it. It's also the first Olympics, if I'm not mistaken, right in a while. It's kind of been somewhat in an appropriate time zone that we can kind of follow it. You know, when they're over in Asia, I'm not blaming Asia, but it's tough to follow because they happen overnight. Yeah. Right? These are happening a few hours ahead. LA will be just as fun. But what a tremendous Olympics. I loved watching the basketball, both men's and women's. I loved watching one of the stories that I was really touched by was Brittany Griner, believe it or not, crying during the American anthem. I'm not going to dive into any of the history there. It's just this is a person that was detained. The country got her out of Russia where she was being detained.
Yes.
And you could see the pride on her face that she was representing her home. I think also Kevin Durant had maybe the greatest quote of the year, which is like, there's a lot of bullshit that happens in America, but it's good to win a gold for the country. A lot of good stuff that happens too.
Yeah.
We're in a position here where I think most people from an Olympic standpoint feeling pretty prideful about our athletes and our country when we're going to rip each other to pieces here over the next few months leading up to an election.
Yes.
It just shows you, I think, how much we need this. I think people wanted to feel good about the USA. And that's one of the reasons I really enjoyed this Olympics. Not to mention just some of the stories aside from the USA were awesome, and some of the moments were awesome. So it was just a really good, feel-good Olympics. And in spite of some of the BS that we've had to bring up on the show and some of the dumb people that we've had to interact with in the last week because of that, it was a great Olympics. And I don't want it to be overshadowed by an Australian breakdancer and a woman winning the women's gold medal in boxing. I don't even know how else to say that.
And an Australian-looking Canadian.
An Australian-looking Canadian. Yeah, it was a great Olympics, and it gets you excited for the next Olympics, which will be in beautiful Los Angeles, California, in 2028. But from start to finish, Ray, really this was special, and I'm glad it happened. It felt great. Felt great to enjoy something like this, and for all of us to be prideful about the country for at least a couple weeks.
Yes, absolutely. It was a solid show. I enjoyed. I watched stuff that I don't usually watch because of the time difference. Like everyone knows I'm a night owl, so I could turn on the Olympics at midnight here in LA, and the 8 a.m. events would be starting, and that's why I watched like archery and judo and taekwondo. Yeah. Actually, the martial arts events were actually like really fascinating to watch.
Yeah. Like the kata gold medal was amazing. Like you just see the level at which these people, the shooting. I mean, there's so much stuff. The point is like world-class athletes, and to see them have these 4-year journeys pay off is really special. And even the defeat, right? But just everything from swimming to track to hand sports and everything. It was just great. I mean, I'm not even touching on a lot of the other things too. But great. It was a great Olympics. I'm really happy that it went that well.
Yes. And now the countdown is on until 2028 if LA is still standing. So yeah, we will see. Speaking of events in the future, though, we've got this is fun. Baseball. So baseball, last couple of years, been doing a lot of different stuff. They did the Field of Dreams games. They did they did the Rickwood games, which obviously celebrated the Negro Leagues this year. And next year, they are going to do a baseball game between the Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves in Tennessee at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Which will be a first time. There's been football games at the Speedway, and obviously it's a massive. Obviously ring. It seats many people. But this is going to be interesting to see what they do with baseball. And I also think it's testing the market, testing the waters for an expansion team in the Tennessee area.
Which would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, there have been talks. Memphis, Nashville. Obviously, you have the Titans in the Memphis area. I believe you have obviously the Nashville Predators in Nashville. It would be interesting if baseball were to expand. I know that Tennessee is definitely one of them. Looking at Charlotte, they're looking at Memphis and Nashville. They're looking at Portland. It'd be interesting to see. Lee, what are your thoughts on baseball and another special event, another special weekend? This will be down in Bristol.
Well, the geek in me wants an actual NASCAR race to take place during the baseball game.
Yeah, they're all circling, and if a home run hits a car as it goes by, it's actually going to be worth 5 runs. It's actually
you just automatically win the race at that point. Yeah. If you survive. No, I love it, Ray. I like that sports are kind of pressing the boundaries. Look, here's the other thing too. I think this is a real homer comment that I'm going to make. We all need to be giving the NHL credit for leading the way with this. They started with the Winter Classic. They were really the first sports league to think outside the box. People were ripping them apart, right? Now everyone's doing something, right? You've had college basketball games on aircraft carriers. You've had baseball games in crazy places, football games in crazy places. They led the way with it. But I love it. I like things outside the box. And it's not so much people go, oh, the game doesn't matter. Just relax and enjoy the game. Like, my God, first world problem again. You know what I mean? I would love for Nashville or just Tennessee to have a baseball team. But it's time for baseball to expand with the playoffs the way they are.
Yes.
And again, the NHL might be at 34 teams before the MLB gets past 30 at this point. Right? But it's
both the NBA and MLB need to get to 32.
Yeah, it's time. Right? And again, Nashville, Tennessee is a great city. I mean, it's one of my favorite cities. It does not make sense that they don't have that then.
Yeah, no, I think that I think it would thrive, honestly, in that part of the country. And
I think there, we know Vegas is going to have a team, although that may or may not be an expansion team now.
Well, there's actually, because now there's actually, this is fun fact, folks. There's actually a rumor that if the Athletics do well in Sacramento, they'll stay there. And then they'll just give Vegas a full expansion team with the new stadium.
Right. So that could happen too. So I guess
I don't think Fisher will go along with that because he's adamant about going to Vegas. But of course, the terrible owner of the Athletics, the human scum, the piece of crap that owns the Athletics, John Fisher.
We're not talking about Hitler anymore.
No, it's okay. Hitler's like worst human ever. And then it's John Fisher.
He kind of is, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, look, and obviously I'm being facetious. Obviously, there's a lot way worse.
Oh no, there's a huge. It's like Hitler, then there's like a huge gap. I don't even like the people. I don't want to get into a power rankings of worst people of all time. Yeah, I mean, like, Genghis Khan should probably be
Genghis Khan, Mao Zedong. Like, I mean, we can get into it. Stalin, Lenin. There's a lot. There's a whole lot of them, right? The Kim Jong Uns of the world. Like, we can get into a whole. This is not the power rankings we want to do on the show.
No, but it's fine. I don't even like when people compare Hitler to anybody. I'm like, no one's really close, guys. Let's not do that. Let's save that for a really special occasion. Anyway, now that we're done with our ESPN ranking of horrible people.
Anyway, Fisher, the owner of Athletics, he's a really bad dude. he's not as bad as like, mass murderer, but he's really, really bad dude, right? Genocidal murderer, but like, yeah, but he's a bad dude. He's bad for sports. He's obviously bad for the Athletics, and he's bad for baseball. I don't think he's going to let that team, even if they do well in the next couple of years in Sacramento, I don't think there's any way on earth he's not going to go down to Vegas.
No, he's going to make $1 billion doing that because that's
right.
A-holes.
Right. Exactly. So, speaking of a-holes, and sometimes have to be an a-hole though to get things done. And this is actually, I'm really, really excited for this film. A lot of trailers, a lot of movie news. It's particularly in Geeks, but this was one I put on the show because I am a huge Saturday Night Live fan. I always have been. And they are doing a dramatization, basically, led by Jason Reitman, who, of course, son of Ivan Reitman, who, of course, Jason took over for his dad for doing Ghostbusters. Yeah. Right, yeah. So, did Frozen Empire. He's directing, and he's co-wrote with Gil Keenan a movie called Saturday Night, which is basically the lead up and then the production of the first Saturday Night Live ever. And it's amazing to see, like, first off, all the actors looking like Gilda Radner and young Chevy Chase and young Lorne Michaels, and like, but you can see the drama and what. Well, first off, that Chevy Chase has always been an a-hole, and that, but then also Lorne Michaels, also to a degree, kind of in a good way, kind of had to be like, hey, we're gonna get this done. I'm gonna, who had the confidence in himself, even though everybody was against him, to bring this forward and make a staple of American television. I'm really excited for this film, Lee. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting time period in American culture, right? And I think that it's really, when you think about it, Ray, the last time when cameras were not everywhere, like really in the 80s is when you start to see immense documentary things, right?
Right.
Saturday Night Live is an amazing idea. Yeah. I mean, the fact it's still on the air. So I like things like this, dude. Also, like I said, I don't know if I love or hate this guy's an a-hole, this guy's like this, but
yeah,
it's cool that we're making movies about it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I haven't seen the trailer yet. I've seen some of the press about it. I'm looking forward to this film.
I thought the trailer was phenomenal. I think I said 40 years ago, and I just realized next year it's going to be 50
years ago. Yeah, I'm 40. Right? I'm 40. You're almost there.
Yeah.
I'd like to give a big shout out to my wife, Janet Cruz, who's going to be 40 on Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday, Dr. Jan!
Welcome to the club, sweetheart. Everything hurts.
Yes, that is true. Everything does hurt. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. Okay, we got a lot of movie news now. Also, breaking Star Wars news. This literally just hit my inbox. Breaking Star Wars news. It's a minor thing. But if you are a Disney Plus subscriber,
Ray, I am a Disney Plus subscriber,
and you get the new Star Wars game, Star Wars Outlaws, that's coming out later this month, August 30th.
Ray, I plan to get that game.
I am as well. You're going to get a special variant of Nix, who is the main character's animal or alien companion. Basically, he gets a special wrap for his body. So that is for Disney Plus subscribers only. That just hit my inbox, and that is going to So that's a little bit of breaking news here on Geeks Who Like Sports. So that's a fun little cosmetic upgrade you can get for Star Wars Outlaws if you are currently a Disney Plus subscriber.
I like it.
How about that?
I like it.
And that code, if it hasn't yet, Lee, that code should be hitting your inbox any second.
I will take it in stride. It's probably my junk box, but I'm going to find it.
But that is the most minor of the news that we've gotten for Disney.
But we did it. Everybody knows because of us.
Yes, but that is a little bit of breaking news. It's a little bit of fun. Yeah, check your spam folders, folks, if you didn't get it, because it just hit mine.
I'm looking.
But speaking of Star Wars, it was D23 this past weekend, and there was a lot of news.
This was the best D23 I think I've seen.
Yeah, and to be fair, and this is kind of why Comic-Con has kind of lost its luster. It's because like DC does its own thing now. Marvel, being part of Disney, has their own thing, right? The importance of news at Comic-Con, while Disney did do some stuff there, they didn't do nearly as much as they did at D23.
No, they're gonna reserve it for their own thing. That's what's happening now.
Yes, exactly. And as they should. More Mandalorian coming. Mandalorian film, obviously we know about. More Mandalorian television. Can't wait for that. But the big news for me anyway, a new Star Wars television show coming out end of this year called Star Wars Skeleton Crew. And Lee, I don't know about you, but this made me think of like classic 80s kids adventure.
It's Goonies.
I was about to say it's
Goonies.
Star Wars Goonies.
Or Star Wars Stranger Things, depending on how you want to look at it. But it's brilliant. It's a brilliant idea, and it's long overdue.
Yeah.
There's a few things I loved about this trailer. One is, again, it feels like the Goonies, no matter how you look at it, or Stranger Things. It's definitely playing to those two audiences.
Yes.
The other thing is this. Ray, remember when they made the movies and, with Ray and, not you, Ray, but like the sequels and everything. Oh, you got to appeal to the younger audience, and, you got to do this thing. They kind of screwed them up.
Yeah.
This is how you do that.
Yes. You want to appeal to kids? Have shows with kids in them.
It's an amazing concept, Ray. You cannot ignore 90% of your fan base.
Right.
You can create new fans, though.
Yes.
Ray, there's a band called Metallica, been around basically 40 plus years.
Yeah.
You know what they do at every show? They invite the young kids to be part of the Metallica family, and they continue to grow in numbers. They don't go, hey, if you've been here since 1983, this show's not for you anymore. Right? They invite. It's all there for you. It's one of the greatest marketing things in history. Metallica knows how to bring people in.
Yeah. And great brands and companies in general know how to do that. Create more fans. Right? Again, it's part of the reason why DC, and we'll get into this later, why DC has struggled in recent years is because they've isolated their hardcore fan base.
Yes.
Like, you can appeal to both.
It's like they juggle the fan base. Like they'll do something like The Mandalorian and that whole universe, which is amazing. And then it's like they'll do The Acolyte, which I'm like, what was that?
Yeah.
It's like, this is the problem is, and I'm going to say it, right? I'm going to finally say it. There's a leadership problem.
Yes, right? Kathleen Kennedy sucks.
Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy makes some really good decisions and some really bad decisions, right? And it's like, it might be time to be like, there's a lot of inconsistency in how you're telling these stories.
Yeah.
And something needs to be done about it, right? There's a leadership problem.
Yes.
Some things hit and some things aren't. And it's like, this is not a spaghetti at the wall property. Marvel figures this out and almost did a full stop. And was like, you know what? We got to change things up.
Yep. And they seem to, Deadpool, Wolverine at least, they seem to be getting back on track, but we'll see.
Did you see Ryan Reynolds' message at D23 where he's like, we're just so thankful to Kevin Feige and everybody, and you're welcome for completely saving the MCU. Thank you. That's what he says at the end. He's like, we just made $1 billion for you. So,
yes. Yeah. No, he might have. They might have. To be fair,
I think he did. I think he did. No one's talked about a Marvel movie this much since Endgame.
No, 100%.
Nobody. No. That's exactly the draw I'm going to make.
Speaking about memes, right? Like the only thing that's competing with Rachel Gunn, the Australian breakdancer, is all the stuff out of Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like on the internet right now.
Except Deadpool's been out longer.
Yes. Yes, that is true. And I got into an argument yesterday with some of my friends at my theater group because I'm like, I want a standalone Gambit movie, and they're like, no, and I'm like, no, yes, absolutely. Channing Tatum should be. I don't. For some folks, the accent did rub them the wrong way, but at the same time, I loved it because that's what Gambit sounds like in the cartoon. And I also have seen this on TikTok a lot. Everybody, a lot of folks down in the Bayou are like, no, that's how we talk. That's how it is.
Exactly how they talk. I lived down there for many years.
Yeah.
Woo, I'm gonna make a name out of myself down here. It is one continuous stream of word, not thought, of word.
Yeah.
And I have heard the Bayou accent that I literally could not understand the person.
Yeah.
All right. So that wasn't that far off. It's just ridiculous because he might not be down there. But Gambit, what a great performance. I think he knows he's never getting that film. But hey, look, the name Gambit, Cherie. Remember it.
Yes.
Ray was impressed with that. Ray was impressed with that.
I charge the cards, they go boom.
Yeah.
Great your powers close-up magic. Still my favorite line, I think, from the film.
Yeah, well,
anyway,
the whole thing's great.
It was phenomenal. It was so good. A lot of Marvel stuff. Speaking of Marvel, a lot of Marvel stuff from D23. We got a new trailer for Daredevil Born Again. Obviously picking that up. John Bernthal's coming back as the Punisher. Like just really picking up where the Netflix TV shows left off and kind of
the one Survivor.
The one Survivor, yeah. Daredevil and Punisher and Kingpin, they're all coming back and cannot wait. We got an Ironheart trailer finally. And, yeah, like, and I mean, it kind of goes where we thought. We're like, after everything with Black Panther and all that, Ironheart is basically ostracized. She drops out of MIT, but she goes back to building her own Iron Man armor, and shenanigans ensue. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, Thunderbolts. I just gonna say with Ironheart, I wish they weren't rushing so much to introduce her. And that was the problem with Phase 4, right? It was just like, here's a character, and they'll all be back. And it's like, no, but I want to care about the characters.
Yeah.
And like that's the huge mistake they made. But
I think they are slowing things down though. Right, we're gonna get the Agatha show. Ironheart.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Is they're totally slowing down now. They've corrected course big time.
Yes. Yeah. Like I mean, because it looked like they were gonna like full steam ahead. They put the turbo thrusters on for a possible Young Avengers thing, and like now they've pumped the brakes.
Slowed down. Yeah. And again, like I think Thunderbolts was supposed to be part of Phase 4. Everything's spread out. Like a lot of people are showing the footage from a previous D23. And if you watch it, like several films have not come out that were supposed to be out already.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the other ones are on target. But yeah, look, they've done a good job of slowing down. They're getting people excited again. Again, it's going to be very interesting to see what they do. You know, Ray, I know we're going through it here, but they talk a lot about anchor beings now, and there's a lot of leaks coming out of what the Kang Dynasty was going to be.
Yeah.
Which was basically all of the anchor beings across the universe coming together.
Right.
Now they're probably still going to do that, but in a different way.
Yes. Yeah, they'll do it in a different way. They'll tweak things. Like we've heard a lot of stuff for Agatha has hit the cutting room floor now to completely cut out Jonathan Majors, and I'm sure they'll do reshoots. And they maybe start teasing, Dr. Doom now more. And
I just wonder, Ray, if there's going to be a scene where the Council of Kangs is like, we go back to that, and Doom just destroys them all in one swoop.
I mean, that happened in the comics.
Well, the thing is this, is that, like, that might be the one thing that they did by accident that's going to work. Is like, you got them all in one place.
Right.
Now, the other thing, too, Ray, was that the other rumor that came out was that Kang the Conqueror from Ant-Man was going to come back.
Yeah.
Right? And that he was going to actually be a major, major villain against the Council of Kangs.
Right.
But most likely now he's dead. And Dr. Doom will just be like, hey, you guys all got together in one place? This is weird. Maybe they'll have like Galactus just step on him. I don't know. Something's going to – I mean, they have to do something with that.
Yeah.
You can't
for sure. That's a loose thread that you'd be better off just tying off at this point.
Yeah, and one note on Jonathan Majors, they interviewed him about Dr. Doom coming and that it's RDJ playing him, and he said he's just heartbroken. And my attitude was, well, next time, don't do what you did, you dumbass.
Yeah,
I have no sympathy for you.
Don't be dumb.
Yeah.
Don't be dumb. This is advice for life, folks. Don't be dumb.
I have sympathy for the character. I have no sympathy for you. Okay, no. I'm disappointed.
What else could Disney do? What else could Disney do at that point? Like,
way to go. Yeah. Well, they could have cast the guy from Iron Man 1. That would have been the funniest thing in history.
That would have been very funny.
Yeah.
But
anyway, moving
on. So let's see. Thunderbolts, their trailer also leaked, kind of a teaser trailer, just basically showing everybody coming together. U.S. Agent and all of them. Yeah, that's confirmed also for late 2025.
That should be fun. Like I'm looking forward to that. I think
Crimson Guardian. Is going to be the comedy relief. You know what you're going to get from the characters, right?
It should be fun. Like I think that was one aspect of Phase 4. I don't think that they messed up. I think they did those very well.
Yeah. Not Marvel superheroes, but superheroes in general. Incredibles 3 was announced at D23.
Yep, thank goodness. Great show. Great movie.
Looking forward to that.
Moana
and now
2 coming soon. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming. And then also some stuff from the parks that's got me very excited.
Yeah, this was cool.
Disney World is getting a new Indiana Jones ride.
Mm-hmm.
and a completely new land that's going to be next to the Magic Kingdom called the Villains Land. They've kind of been teasing with this in October the last few years, but where the villains kind of take over the park during Halloween season, and now they're going to get their own land in Disney World. It's a lot of fun.
And it's funny, Ray, because that's where you have lived for most of your life, and now you're going to have a place to go at Disney. Now, like a few things. The Indiana Jones ride is going to be in Animal Kingdom.
Yes.
Which, as soon as they said it, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. It sounded like they're going to make some changes to the show that they do in Hollywood Studios, which, I mean, they've been doing the same show there for years, but that show's always fun. But we need more Indiana Jones stuff. Animal Kingdom makes a lot of sense for that.
Yes.
Villains Land is a brilliant thing.
Yeah.
It's long overdue.
And it's also good because this is something like Disney World and Disneyland were always very similar. But now Disney, you're seeing with the parks, because they're also adding on to Disneyland Paris, where every Disney around the world has its own kind of unique flavor now a little bit to it. Like Villains Land, at least for now, is only planned to be in Disney World.
Well, yeah, of course, that's where Florida Man lives, so of course.
Exactly. It makes perfect sense. It's the setting for GTA 6.
That is really a brilliant idea. I don't know why GTA hasn't put a theme park in their game yet, Ray. That's really funny.
Yeah, by the way, I'm sorry, folks. I just delayed the game another year because of that idea.
Oh, man, that's a brilliant idea. And the map's big enough already. You might as well make a GTA world.
Yeah.
What would you even call that?
You could do it. And I'm excited about this because also Disney California Adventure, right? One of the parks out here next in part of Disneyland, which is where the Avengers campus is. The Avengers campus is out here. They are doubling the size of Avengers. And I will say, I've been to Avengers campus once. I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought there's a couple of rides that are a lot of fun. The shows are phenomenal. I will argue that possibly the best restaurant in Disneyland is actually the Pim's Kitchen, where you have giant pretzels or tiny tacos or all these different like the food is really good. Like it's really, really good.
There's shawarma there?
I think they have shawarma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think it's in the Pim's Kitchen, but I think there's a shawarma stand. But anyway, like for me, like aside from Galaxy's Edge with Star Wars, like the Avengers campus as part of California Adventure is my favorite part of Disneyland.
Yeah, and Galaxy's Edge is fun.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think that Rise of the Resistance is one of the best rides I've ever been on. I was just at Disney World, right? I think I told you the Mickey Mouse ride is actually, I think, the best ride there. It's the first like it's not a roller coaster, but it's the first ride that Mickey has had.
Right.
And it's very similar to Ride of the Resistance in terms of how it operates. But I think that might have been the best ride I went on, right with Ride of the Resistance. So they're upping their game. Yeah.
It's for sure.
A new Toy Story was announced too.
Yeah, Toy Story 5 was
Toy Story 37 was announced.
Yeah. But a lot of stuff out of D23. Yeah, two more Avengers rides coming to California Adventure. They're doubling the size of that land. That's a big deal. And they hope to have that, I think, done by the end of the decade. So that I'm incredibly excited for.
Are they going to make a rated R Deadpool and Wolverine ride?
Probably not. I will say this. I really appreciate now that you have Deadpool's story time there and how much the Deadpool actor basically skirts. He's PG-13, basically, but he's gets real close to it. So.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to say this. I think we can effectively say this, that Deadpool and Wolverine is the greatest marketed film in history.
Absolutely.
I've never seen anything done this well in a marketing standpoint. Those guys are everywhere. They're showing up in other movie marketing.
Yeah.
Really marketing themselves.
Yeah. So is Deadpool now a Disney princess?
Sure. Deadpool is whatever he wants to be. He's a pansexual superhero, and I love him very much.
Maybe Dogpool is the princess.
I like that too. Ray, I'll tell you this too. In it's like this is one of the cool feathers in my cap, and I guess I'm beating my chest a little bit, but you know this. Like we have been reading Deadpool for years.
Forever.
And it's like I remember when the first film was coming out, people saying to me, I don't know who that is. And I remember saying, you're going to love this character.
Yeah.
What they're able to do. And I'll also say this too. I've been saying for years that Ryan Reynolds is the perfect Deadpool. When he was cast, believe it or not, in X-Men Origins Wolverine, said he's the perfect person for that.
Yeah.
And they really messed it up. But I was so affirmed by his devotion to the character and the way he was able to bring Deadpool back.
Yeah.
And again, if you've ever seen Van Wilder, which is horribly dated film now, but you can see it there. Even in Blade 3, which was really panned, I thought he was awesome in that. And guess what? He's basically Deadpool in that film.
Yeah.
Right? Now, someone did say, well, Ryan Reynolds is the same character in every film. And I said, yeah, he's a bit of a Costner, right? In the sense of like he plays a similar version of himself.
Sure,
But no one
absolutely.
does it better than him.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
He did that rom-com a few years back that I thought was so good too. Where it's kind of like How I Met Your Mother. I can't remember the name of it now, but it was really good. I've always loved Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
so I just love seeing him have the success that he's had.
Yeah, he's great. He's absolutely great. And then
the last thing, Ray, sorry, is that I really hope that I think we have to say this. Go read some of the comics.
Yes.
Like go read some of the go read Deadpool and Cable, which has got to be the funniest comic ever written.
Yeah, read the Daniel Way run, right?
Yeah, they're so good. One more bit of geek news that came out of D23, Ray. Very low radar. I'm not even sure if you've heard this. They kind of announced that Robert Downey Jr.'s journey into being Doctor Doom is going to be explained in comics.
Oh.
Okay, now I think it's going to be surface level explained. Or let me rephrase that. The film will probably surface level explain it, but the comics are apparently going to dive deep into that. I don't know when they're going to do that, but like the one thing that I think Marvel and Disney, or the MCU, I can really say, haven't jumped on is connecting to the comics.
Yeah.
I think there was an opportunity here for them to say, hey, go read this book or go read that. They kind of don't do that.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of ways you can do it, but
sure.
I would like to see that a little bit more of like, look, it's not essential that you read the comics, but if you want to dive deeper, here it is. I don't ever remember them presenting a comic like, hey, this is a really great comic to read. If you want to do it.
In preparation of,
Yeah, I think Deadpool and Cable, which was great, would have done even better if they had said, hey, read this run.
Yeah.
Right? If you want. It's really fun. Anyway, I didn't know if you knew that or not. But yeah,
no,
Dr. Doom will be explained in comics.
And that's a great way to boost comic book sales that have obviously been struggling for the last 20 years, really.
Well, again, you don't rethink the industry. You don't need it in print. Right? There's a lot of different comicsology. There's a lot of different ways you can get comics to people now.
Yeah.
I like print, but that's because we're old. All right.
Right.
So my point is like I wish they would lean in a little bit more on that because that industry really can't go down. You know what I mean? Like, where do you think all the source material comes from?
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. There will always be comic books. It just not as prolific as they once were because of like you said, because of the change in mediums. So.
Yes.
Moving on now to so we talked about some great movies. We talked about a $1 billion box office, and now we move on to the very definition of a box office bomb. I have not seen this film. I refuse to see this film. But everybody I've heard who has seen this film says it is the worst film ever. It is a slap in the face to the video game industry. It basically takes a piss on. Well, I mean,
nobody saw that.
Nobody saw that, so we don't know.
Yeah.
It takes this. It pisses on the fandom of the franchise, and that basically it was obvious that all the stars in this film did it for a payday. Borderlands right now a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has surpassed Madam Web as the worst film of the year.
And that's because Madam Web has severe like cult following now.
Yeah, and Borderlands isn't going to get that cult following. All this has done. A friend of mine said that they were in the theater with people who were cosplaying as Borderlands characters, and the cosplayers left mid-movie.
Wow.
They were so disgusted by this film and how it absolutely ignores everything in the games. There's a half dozen video games for source material, and they
do something different though, Ray.
Stop reinventing the wheel. So I mean, like, and you have Jamie Lee Curtis and Jack Black and Kevin Hart and Cate Blanchett, and you have this amazing star-studded cast. And it's an example of a company and movie studio not taking the video game industry seriously, not being like, we can do it better. No, we already like it the way it is over here. Nobody needed this film. We didn't need a Borderlands movie. I heard it's a bargain bin Guardians of the Galaxy without the lore connected to it. It's a disaster from what I've heard.
Well, if you remember, Ray, I remember when I saw the first trailer, I think that's how I described it. I said, looked like Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's not good if that's what I'm thinking.
I think it even tried to do the trailer the same way, like cutting into the music and everything.
100% 100% did. People like that. They'll like this.
No, it's not the same. They're not the same. Morons. Lee, I'm surrounded by morons out here.
Yeah, I'm right here, Ray. Anyway,
no, you're in Philly. You know what I mean? Like
quick side story for you. Remember Back to the Future 2 from 1989 when old Marty, or they walk in the house, and I'm sorry, the kid, Marty McFly Jr. is on there like, give me channel 18, 37, 45, the Weather Channel, ESPN.
Yeah.
I walked into my house the other day and I looked at the TV, and there were 4 different channels up there, and one of them was weather. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, it happened. Okay.
Some of the future came true.
Some of the future came true. That's your interlude. We can go back now to talking about a property that we love.
Yeah. But yeah, no, just one last note on Borderlands that basically is just, basically at this point, if it's made by Lionsgate, it's basically...
It's poop.
It's great trailer, awful film.
It's poop.
So, right? Yeah, it is poop. You know what's not going to be poop? Ghostbusters. New cartoon coming to Netflix. They're going to do the cartoon. I don't know who the voices are. I don't know anything about it. All we know is that a cartoon has been greenlit at Netflix to continue to once again bring the brand back to glory. I am so happy about this. I cannot wait. I imagine it's going to be picking up kind of like around the time as Frozen Empire.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The characters will be the kids, I'm going to guess, right?
That's my guess, right?
Yeah, that would be that. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a real Ghostbusters continuation.
Right. I think I think it's going to be, it's going to be the kids. You may have old man Ray Stantz there, but I think you're going to have just the kids there. And I can't wait. I think this is phenomenal. It's great to see our childhood coming back through streaming services to save the day. So
yes, I like it. I like it. It's fun. I think people are starting to figure out you can hit all the audience without having to reinvent the wheel.
Yes, 100%. In fact, so even somehow, some way, even Warner Brothers might have been able to figure it out.
No, I don't believe that, Ray.
Not fully. I mean,
this is a red herring to me.
Yeah, I mean, well, I also have to say this. I watched the beginning of the Caped Crusader last night, and I watched the first episode.
Yes.
And
has gripes.
I have gripes.
We'll have to get a full review from you on a future episode of Geeks Who Like Sports.
Yes, I have a couple of gripes, and it's not the fact that the Penguin's a woman. Like, it's not that. Like we mentioned that a couple of times.
It's that she's horrible at breakdancing.
No,
all right, and she looks Australian.
I'll also say Minnie Driver did a great job as the voice actress, but I'll get into my gripes with this show. I will watch the other 9 episodes because there were good parts to it, but there were a couple of things that I was like, nah. So, but we'll see. But the big thing that Warner Brothers is doing now is that they've announced, or that they are exploring the possibility. They look at what Disney's done with Marvel Spider-Man by Insomniac and Guardians of the Galaxy by Square Enix and all of these other game companies that Disney is just licensing them out to people who know what they're doing and then just reaping the rewards. Warner Brothers, after the failure of Suicide Squad, after the disaster of Gotham Knights, is like, maybe we should stop making games.
Yeah.
Maybe we should start licensing our IP out. So maybe we'll get Insomniac's Batman or, Activision's, I don't know, pick a hero. Activision's
How about
Flash,
a Superman game that works?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of what company could do that. I don't know. Ubisoft Superman will say. I don't know. Like
Superman has to be a VR game. That's going to be the first great Superman game.
Oh, that's a good call.
I know.
They did a great virtual reality.
That's why I said it. You can't have Superman in a handheld game like with a controller. Yeah. It's got to be VR.
Yeah, that's a good call. But the fact that they're exploring this and realizing after flop after flop, aside from not counting what NetherRealm is doing with Mortal Kombat, obviously, like they're still going to. You
didn't say Mortal Kombat, right?
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Oh, look at you wearing the shirt. My son is obsessed right now. Obsessed. With Mortal Kombat. Yes, it's actually really fun.
I mean, it makes it. He's right about that age. Yeah.
Well, it's like I told him the other night. I was like, hey, there's a movie, and he's like, is there? I'm like, yeah. I'm not talking about the HBO one, which wasn't that bad. Like,
no, it wasn't bad. No.
Yeah, but I said, Ray, Logan, you've you've got to see this movie. He's like, is Liu Kang in it? I said, he's the main character, Logan.
Nice.
Who's the bad guy? Shang Tsung.
Nice.
I was like, yeah, we're gonna watch it. And then I played the theme song for him. I was like, stop singing.
That's great.
And he's like, can Alina watch with us? I said, no.
Yeah, she's a little too young still.
That's not her style.
That's fair.
She doesn't like to see a lot of that stuff. She's a very peaceful warrior, if you know what I mean.
That's
Just
fair.
don't get in her way because she'll kill you. It's a great move. There's a lot of great properties there. And look, I'll say this: WB getting out of their own way.
I mean, hopefully. I mean, that's
what's going to happen.
Thing.
You make it, but you should do this. You should try that. Henry Cavill should play Superman in the game. And then, how about a Black Adam game?
Let's not go there. No, but like, I mean, look, they're not shutting down. I will say this, at the very least, they're not shuttering Rocksteady. They're not shuttering Warner Bros. Montreal, which these are wins. And obviously those studios should continue to exist and still try and or assist with other companies' ideas. But the idea of licensing out these characters to other companies who have a track record and who aren't trying to just make a quick cash in like Warner Brothers has been trying to do the last several years of games. Again, you look at the success of what Marvel Spider-Man has done for Insomniac.
And Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man, and Spider-Man as a character.
It goes both ways,
yeah, sure.
I mean, like, a lot of people think that's the canon. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that's Spider-Man.
It's the preferred canon for some people.
If I'm not mistaken, that character in the games is actually in the Miles Morales Spider-Man film.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
so like that tells you something. That tells you something.
Yeah. No, exactly. And that's the thing. Is like,
I mean, Ray, the last great WB game might have been Arkham Asylum. I mean, let's be honest.
Arkham City. I'll say Arkham City.
Arkham City was good too. Yeah, Arkham Asylum was great though. I enjoyed it.
Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Origins, no. Arkham Knight, no.
Yeah. That's the last good game. We're talking a long time ago.
It's been 15 years.
Yeah.
It's been almost 15 years since Arkham City came out, and 2011. 2011 was Arkham City. So, again. Night sucked. Origins sucked. Gotham City Knights sucked. Suicide Squad sucked.
They gave it away for free.
Yeah, like I'll say that. Well, I'll say this. Injustice was good. Yeah, right. But that's basically that's
not new either.
Right. That's Mortal Kombat with DC superheroes.
Yeah, that wasn't even their game. Now I'm thinking about it, right? Like, and that's old too, right? That's not new. Well,
Injustice is 10 years old.
Yeah, I mean, Injustice 2 came out. Like these are older games. Older, I mean anything more than 5 or 6 years.
Well, and then that's the thing. And now Warner Brothers is like, we don't want you guys to continue the Injustice games. Just keep making Mortal Kombat. And it's like,
okay,
what? I mean, sure, like Mortal Kombat's great, but like, they were getting into a rhythm there where they were kind of alternating like every 2 years.
It was good. Like, if NetherRealm is smart, they'll find another property to bring in. They kind of have done that with some of their cameos.
They can do that. It's just a matter of with Warner Brothers will let them.
I know. Capcom.
Oh, Capcom versus
Mega Man and Mortal Kombat. What was his
man. Well, it'd be.
I mean, I know what
Mega Man.
I don't think I can handle him getting killed. That might bother me.
No, but here's the thing. Or you have the team ups. You do Mega Man with like Cyrax, right? The robots, right? So you'd have the robots teaming up together. I'm trying to think. Ryu would probably be with Liu Kang. Ken would be with Johnny Cage. I'm trying to think. Blanca with Baraka.
Yeah.
Trying to think.
Chun-Li with Sonya.
Yeah. Bo Rai Cho with E Honda.
Yeah, makes sense.
Let's see. Who would go with Guile? Guile with Mortal Kombat.
Kombat?
Maybe Jax?
Well, Guile's. I mean, Johnny Cage is the obvious, but we kind of did that.
Yeah, I mean, Ken with Johnny Cage, I think makes more sense because of their egos. I mean, actually, the thing is Sonya would actually go with Johnny Cage, go with Guile.
Yeah. Who's the? That's true. Who
or Jax? You'd have to go with the American soldiers.
What about what was the cop's name? Start with a B. The cop from Mortal Kombat 2. Stryker. Sorry, so with an S. Stryker could go with Guile.
That could work. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, I have a gun, but it doesn't work in the game. Kind of.
Yeah. Oh goodness, yeah, that's like almost like a mini mashup we just did for you, folks. Speaking of the mashup, we got a good one coming up for you this coming week.
Stay tuned.
Yes, so stay tuned for that. We're going to be talking about continuing the theme of breakdancing. We're going to talk about what else should be an Olympic sport.
There you go.
So that'll be a fun one. Because also next year we mentioned this last week or a couple weeks ago, how video games are going to get their own special event next year in Saudi Arabia with the Olympic brand. So the Olympics are expanding. What else should be brought into the Olympics? But Lee, not as long an episode as I thought it was going to be.
No, we did that well. It was fun.
Yeah, we definitely we were efficient. We were efficient with our opinions today. So see, look at that. No sponsors. No.
We don't ever have sponsors. They're non-sponsors.
Well, no non-sponsors. That's what I mean. No non-sponsors. No DoorDashes. And look at that. We came in a very trim episode. Go buy my balls. There you go.
I happen to have one of my balls right here, Ray. Hold on.
There you go.
My Back to the Future mug.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Upside down. There we go.
Perfect. Well then I guess for Lee, I'm Ray. This has been another edition of Geeks Who Like Sports. We'll see you Saturday for the matchup, everybody. Until then, good night.